Welcome back. We are going to spend this video talking through TimeWise, which is our framework for the 4 arenas that we're going to take agency around as we make this shift from machine time to human time. Before we dive into the actual framework, I want to take a minute just to explain why wisdom matters so much and why we're leading with this concept of wisdom. It's funny because, sometimes there's words in our lexicon that when we bring it up, it kind of brings up these almost fable-like imagery. And I think wisdom is one of those things. We maybe imagine some old person like Socrates or something speaking and sharing these high abstract concepts or something of that nature. What I want to suggest is what wisdom actually is doing is wisdom is seeing the full context of a situation. One of the problems is we can, as human beings, be given great arguments that sound very sound and pursue those arguments or the conclusions that they have without realizing that the premises to the arguments are actually where the issue is. And this is exactly what's happening with productivity, this modern productivity way of thinking, is we've adopted premises around not only how we work, but also around what leads to a sense of human flourishing in time that is not even really obvious to us. We just assume, okay, this is the most important thing or this is the most important thing. So what TimeWise is doing is TimeWise is helping you to see the full map of where it is that you need to take on a new sense of agency as you want to ultimately reclaim your life. Because your time and your life are really not that far apart. There's really no other place for your life to take place other than through your time. When you start living human time through this TimeWise framework, you're going to get more of the right things done. You're going to feel momentum again. You're going to have a sense of fulfillment instead of exhaustion. You'll get a sense of greater coherence amongst your life story, amongst this journey that's taking place. And that feeling of time debt, which weighs on so many of us, will begin to dissolve relatively naturally. Because part of the fruit of wisdom is disillusionment. It's getting rid of illusion. And time debt is an illusion that we have picked up. Time debt is part of this productivity, industrial, machine time outlook. So, let's talk through the 4 arenas of human time. The first is perception. The second is attention. The third is rhythm. And the fourth is orientation. The invitation for perception is to see wisely. What does that mean? That means to see reality with as close a fidelity to what actually is as you can. It means rewriting some of these narratives that are currently holding you back, that are actually causing a lot of the downstream effects when it comes to attention, when it comes to rhythm, when it comes to orientation. In attention, the invitation is to choose wisely. We're making choices all the time. Sometimes we're also just following choices that we made a long time ago, or someone else made for us a long time ago. In attention, we're reclaiming our sense of agency around the thing that dictates so much of the rest of our life, which is where we put our attention. Rhythm is a sort of scaffolding for our life. Rhythm is our own way of building in structure to our lives that helps to serve our attention and what we're ultimately seeing. So the invitation for rhythm is to cultivate wisely. You'll often notice that the metaphors that we use culturally for human beings, especially in this self-help genre, or like a habit genre, productivity genre, are often very mechanical. Hacks, maybe like very mechanical ways of thinking about habits, very mechanical ways about thinking about change. These things aren't wrong in that it's not that they don't have benefit. But we don't work like machines. And you can do a lot of the hacky-tacky stuff and still not actually see a great resolution within your own life. Because, again, we're not machines. And the work of our rhythms is largely one of cultivation. We cultivate plants and we try to get them to a point of flourishing. And that's the same thing that we're doing with our rhythms. And lastly, we have orientation. Orientation is our ability to choose the direction that we're going in. This is different from attention because it's not so much directing our attention in what we're saying yes and no to. It's our actual ability to, in a sense, orient ourselves in one direction or another. It's the agency around who it is that we're becoming, which no machine has the capacity to do. So here, the invitation is to align wisely. What you'll notice is within productivity, within the whole productivity genre, perception and orientation is not addressed at all. There's a very flattened view. And if you think of different books in the world of productivity, different tools in the world of productivity, you'll see that they do focus on rhythm, which might be scheduling, or they use different language because they're optimizing in a different way. And they're looking at it in a different way. It's a non-organic model for the human person. But often you will find people who focus on rhythm and attention. There's a lot of advice that's out there around those two different areas. But even there, it's a very, very flattened, mechanized understanding of the human person, which results in a very shallow approach to attention, which is largely about here's how you get rid of this distraction or this or that, or just like focus. You just have to focus. That idea can be so problematic because focus in of itself is not even a helpful thing. Yes, we can have a very diffuse focus, but just because you're focusing doesn't mean you're focusing on the right thing. You might be racing faster and faster in the wrong direction. But we confuse things, right? We mistake action for progress. And the same with our rhythms. And what we often face in more of this productivity type mindset is focusing on a schedule, doing things like time blocking. Again, these things are not in of themselves wrong, but the way that we engage them can be very, very misleading. And that's why I would argue a lot of people really struggle to live into rhythms because the way they're doing it just doesn't really make any sense for a human being. It's just too rigid. It's not serving the person. It's not addressing what's really going on. It's just trying to create some concrete, mechanized ways that are easy to engage, but ultimately don't work. What we do with TimeWise is we go through all four of these phases, all four of these arenas, and help you to reorient, help you to re-engage in a different, more profound way, which is important. And I want to say this really emphatically because I believe it with every cell in my body. Your time is your life. So for whatever brought you here, maybe you're struggling with, hey, I'm always getting distracted, or I don't really know what it is that I want to be focused on. Maybe I'm going into a new season of life, or I keep on procrastinating, or just the demands of life are too heavy. There's all these surface level problems that may have been bringing you here. But ultimately, time is is not just about how do we get it to work a little bit better in this way or that way. Yes, obviously we have to address the specific problems that are on our plates right now. But our time is the medium through which everything else in our life happens. If you want to have a better relationship, that's going to happen through time. If you want to improve your health, that's going to happen through time. If you want to advance your creative work, that's going to happen through time. If you want to do inner work and just really discover who you are, maybe you forgot it somewhere along the journey, that's going to happen through time. So when we're talking about perception, attention, rhythm, orientation, these are not just these abstract arenas that will help us just to be more effective at getting things done. We can't look at it in this productivity-based way. What I encourage you to do instead is to really begin living through this lens that your time is the foundation for everything else. And because of that, it's so consequential that we learn how to approach it in a way that truly serves us.